next track is something that should be taken, perceived as more of a, on a serious note. A beautifully phrased poem on a topic that's very much relevant and needed to be discussed right now. Please welcome Eman Shayeb and Noor Khalil with a poem on Palestine titled A Buzzing Dissonance.
This poem, titled A Buzzing Dissonance, was written by our friends Fedwan and Abdurrahim. It is a reflection of the disconnect between inner and outer dialogue in the daily experience of a student's life in the present moment. Gaza has been deafened by a buzzing for the past 6 months. The phrase "Zinni ya zannana zinni" is a reference to Israel's omnipresent drones constantly resonating in Gaza, nicknamed Zannana by Palestinians because of their noisy buzzing. These drones are there to carry out extrajudicial killings, massacres, and surveillance.
The poem also discusses the life and legacy of Dr. Rafat Al-Aliyah, a distinguished professor, writer, and poet, educated at University College London, who later dedicated himself to teaching at the Islamic University of Gaza, an institution repeatedly targeted by the Israeli occupation force. Dr. Rafat Al-Aliyah was martyred by Israel on December 7th of last year after receiving death threats and thereafter being deliberately bombed by the occupation. He is the antithesis of the Zannana. He was the voice of courage that now is heard throughout the world. Before his passing, he wrote a poem titled If I Must Die. Our poem includes lines from his work and others. Zinni ya Zannana zinni, zinni ya Zannana zinni, on repeat. The drones, I can hear them, but they're so far away. But they hear them, they're there to stay. Zinni ya Zannana zinni. Last night I tried to sleep. The night was long, but I'm here. Something like a buzzing in my ears, but it's not so clear. I open my eyes, my phone already in my hands.
On my screen, bodies, but how are they bodies? Faces erased, limbs scattered, and nightmares embraced. More than 30,000 killed, 30,000 gone, 30,000 stories untold, their voices unheard.
Yet I sit in my bed, consumed by deadlines, grades, and lectures. Absurd. My phone rings, I pick up. A friend tells me about their late-night adventures. Zinni ya Zannana zinni.
Bombs dropped, whole families wiped out. How do I respond to their adventures? Do they not know about the sleepless nights? It's on repeat. Zinni ya Zannana zinni. Can I really blame them?
Instead I say, I'm glad you had fun. See you in class later today. I wash my face and stare at the bloodshot eyes looking back at me, rivers upon rivers of water so pure,
rivers upon rivers of blood flow over eyes that will never again see.
In a rush, 10 minutes to class, I grab an orange. Sweeping past Starbucks, I either coffee, 5 past the hour's chime.
How much goes to fuel their heinous crime?
Am I really late?
6 months, 167 days, 4,026 hours, and no ceasefire. That's late. 75 years of colonialism and 57 years of occupation, I reiterate.
An orange slice slips from my grasp. No harm done. I'll get another later. 2 million on the cusp of famine.
Images of the flower massacres flood my mind. Food and bombs dropping alike. Do they endure, feed their families, or let fate decide?
Stares and glares, I tiptoe, worried I disrupt their education. My professor gives me a tight smile. Rifat's verse rings in my head.
I couldn't hear because of the noise. Zinni ya Zannana zinni, disrupting their life. I think of how Dr. Rafat welcomed his students in, his parting words, if I must die, you must live to tell my story. What was his story, and how do we tell it?
Heading to King's College, passing by my hall, sheltered by trees, buildings, and shared histories, I find my way to my friends, but I don't forget.
The cold encompasses, the rubble imprisons, and the family registry is struck through. Scholars massacred, universities bombed, nature made trivial.
We sit and share our stories, explore futures imagined with children and families.
While a child in Gaza looks heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad, who left in a blaze and bid no one farewell. We live, we do, Rafat assures, and we repeat, they live, they do. ولا تقولوا لمن يقتل في سبيل الله أموات بل أحياء ولكن لا تشعرون.
Never say that those martyred are dead, rather they are alive but you don't perceive it. We stop and listen, we let their stories unfold. Their stories are of hope and their passing is an honor. We send our peace as they blossom in heaven above. We answer Rafat, if you must die,
then know
you brought us hope, and you've become a tale.